All right, Jack, we're back for another Mayor's Hour right in the midst of 2 weeks out of the election. So we are glad to be here and not talking about presidential politics.
And of course, when this starts running, people will be almost ready to find out who's winning.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've talked a lot over the last 5.5 years about our emerging technology sector, about these young entrepreneurs that are flocking to the city. We are located right now at the Lowth Center for Entrepreneurship at the University of Tampa. It is a relatively new building that is really cranking out and incubating a lot of young technology talent here at the University of Tampa.
Yeah, this is great. And as you say, this area has become a big thing for millennials coming down here, IT people, things like that. And this is where they're going to be training these people. And it's a great thing, too, because so many of them are going to end up staying here in Tampa. And it's the other thing is it's such a great thing for the growth of the University of Tampa. That thing is just mushroomed. I mean, this school has mushroomed in very much in the past few years.
Oh, absolutely.
My son left here. In fact, he was around when we did the last Mayor's Hour here at UT. But this place is just incredible.
Yeah, it really has. It's emerged as one of the best business schools in the country. And out of that business school comes the need for this entrepreneurship center. Because what you want to do is grow and to foster entrepreneurship, to teach these young people what it means to be an entrepreneur, to help guide them, to take those ideas that they have, as crazy as they may seem, and find a way to make it and commercialize it and make it profitable.
Yep, they are the future. The future's right here.
It is indeed. All right, stay with us. We're going to meet some of the really cool kids that are here today. We're going to meet Rebecca White, Dr. Rebecca White, who is the leader of this center. And
a cool kid.
And a cool kid. And you're going to see some really, really bright young people that will make you proud to turn over that to that next generation somewhere down the road. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Want to keep this?
I'd love to keep that. Can I hang that in my office? You know what this looks like? It looks like a tie. The Mayor's Hour.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
All right, here we go. Here we go. This is the one-time winner. Nice.
And he got it again.
That's
he lifted it. There you go. Hey. All right.
And I got my bait back.
Jack, we are back on our tour of this entrepreneurship center. We are with Dr. Rebecca White, who is their fearless leader, an entrepreneur in her own right, but more importantly, she is the guiding light, teaching these bright, young, talented millennials and students what it means to be an entrepreneur. Welcome to the Mayor's Hour.
Thank you.
Actually, it's the Jack Harris Hour with his sidekick, the mayor.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, what goes on here? Where are we? What is this room? How old is this building? What do you do, Rebecca?
What do we do? Okay, well, we opened this building in September of last year, September 3rd, 2015, and it's really a learning space, an experiential learning space for students. So if you think about it, there's a lot of things that go on inside of the classroom, but we believe students learn as much or more outside of the classroom. That's one of the things that makes universities really a valuable experience.
When you talk about entrepreneurial, what students are we talking about? Are these young people who are already in that vein or in that direction, or do you create people like that, or what?
Well, it's a little of both, but I think the students that are attracted to this already have some interest in that. And by the way, you know, it's one of the top majors, and if you talk to these young people today, a large percentage of them want to be their own boss or start a company. So what the cool thing, Jack, is that it is for any student, any major. So you can be a biology major, you can be an engineering student, you can be any background,
and then take the knowledge you bring here and then
apply that,
so you can use it to your advantage.
Yep. Absolutely. So that's really the mindset.
And there's so much talk today about the millennials. They finish college, go live with the parents, and that's it, and wait until something happens. And in this case, you've got young people in here who are making their future, who are creating their future.
Yes, and in fact, one of the things I will never forget, when one of my first years here, one of the students was pitching to freshmen about why he wanted to study entrepreneurship. And he said, I saw both of my parents downsized by a large corporation, and I decided I wanted to put my future in my own hands, not somebody else's. So, I think that's the way a lot of them look at things. They want to take control of their own future.
When you're the mayor, you may get downsized by the voters.
Well, you made it.
Yeah, so far so
You
good.
went
I'm
through it.
okay.
You're in good shape.
So what type of kids are coming through here? What are some of the ideas that you've seen hatched here and grown here? And I would bet that there are a lot of failures as well, but that's part of being an
It's
entrepreneur.
all part of it, all part of it. Our goal is for them to fail quickly. So, we're testing out ideas, but we've had a lot of really cool things. Prior to being in the building, of course, we were still operating our entrepreneurship program. So a few years ago, we had a young man that was from Haiti, and he had gone home. This was 2010. It was my first year here, and he'd gone home and experienced the earthquake there. And he came back and he said, I know what I want to do. And in my class, he put together a business plan for a recycling business. And he now runs a company there. It's the largest recycling company in Haiti. He's got 6,000 Haitians that pick up trash every day, and they can actually feed their family on that. The money that he gives them for the
Wow, boy,
plastics.
that's a great story.
But he's also put 75, he's got 75 transfer stations all around the country. And so he's put Haitians there to manage those transfer stations. So they're little entrepreneurs. So it's an amazing story. And, he was inspired by something that happened in his life and wanted to make a difference. And he took what he was learning in class, and we continue to coach and mentor and help him with what he's doing. And we've had one of the companies a few years back also, they started a solar panel company, and they actually wanted to stay in Florida, but at the time it wasn't as favorable for them to be here. They do solar panels on top of Targets and on top of Walmart's up in Connecticut, and they were just named the fastest growing solar company by their association just this year. So,
And you've had some national award winners that have emerged out of UT. Tell us about the Tembo project.
The Tembo project, that's a part of the Halt Prize, which is a project that's sponsored by the Clinton Foundation, and actually it's a marvelous program where students actually come up with a social enterprise idea to solve a problem that is provided to them by the Clinton Global Initiative each year. And that year, the issue was on educating children 0 to 6. And so we had a team of students that developed a really interesting concept. They went over to Africa. They lived there for several months so that they could understand what was going on there. And they found out that everybody had a cell phone and that they could use cell phone minutes as currency by partnering with with some of the local cell phone providers, because people they're not committed to a particular provider. So by doing this, they were actually able to get the buy-in of the providers by creating these bulk minutes and getting people tied to a particular provider. But they also educated through these cell phones, and they trained parents to educate. And they're still going. The founder of that group is actually up in Boston right now. They got into the Harvard program, and so they're working there. But they were one of the top 6 in the country, and I mean in the world, and the only one from the U.S. that made it to the top 6 finals.
Well, I know you're training them well, because every time they see me, they either ask me for money or they ask me to ask my friends for money to invest in their corporation. So.
Yes, that's what we do in this room. This is our pitch room, and so they learn to pitch, that's for sure.
They do. They grab me every time they see me. I'm like, look, my wife only gives me my allowance, so go talk to the boss.
Yeah, you're the CFOs at home.
Yeah, we have to teach them, maybe they don't ask every time they see you. We'll work on that.
They're not shy, though. I love it.
Yeah, those stories you're telling, it sounds like that would be a great book to put together some of these stories.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
the
a
one in
great
Haiti,
idea,
the ones that went to Africa, and that kind of thing.
That sounds like a great idea.
Let's
work on that.
Putting UT on the map for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
There's a lot of cool concepts.
The other thing, I happen to see you have a 3D printer here, and I know I haven't seen, the first one I saw was out, I think, at Moffitt when we did the Mayor's Hour out there. But you have a lot of other pretty cool things or innovative things themselves here
in this space.
building,
Yep,
don't you?
Yep. That's a part of our little maker space where students can actually develop prototypes. We have a number of students that are developing product ideas, and we connect them with manufacturing groups to help them get the manufactured, but a lot of times they need a prototype so they can actually create it with that. But the cool thing about this space, it was designed, as I mentioned earlier, with experiential learning in mind. So we used a learning model that had 5 different components. The first is collaboration. So there's a lot of collaboration space for students to actually work together. The second is coaching and mentoring. So we bring in folks from the community, entrepreneurs, people from around the world. We've had scholars from as far away as Australia here. So we bring those in to coach and mentor the students. The third is reflection. So we put in these cool little think pods, and we've got our contemplation loft. So after all that collaboration, coaching, and mentoring, you need some time to reflect. The fourth is apprenticeship. So they're actually running companies up here. And the fifth is multiple practice. And that kind of gets to the pitching idea. You know, we put them through lots of practice. And, you know, they have to know their pitch. They have to practice what they're working on. And like you said earlier, Mayor, a lot of times their first idea doesn't work. So they're constantly iterating it and we use something called design thinking to actually shape your idea with the input from real customers. So our students are actually out talking to people that could be potential buyers of their product. And they're immersing themselves in the culture when they're doing international things. So it's pretty cool stuff.
How have you found the entrepreneurial ecosystem here in the Tampa Bay area? I know you're embarking on a study of that.
Yep.
That will
Yes.
that will help to quantify that. But what are your sort of initial impressions when you started here? I know we've come a long way, but we're not where we need to be yet.
It's really impressive
Yeah.
what's happened in the last few years, and I just think it's really exciting. From the time I came in 2009 to now, it's just amazing. What we're finding in our study, just a little sneak, I can't give it all out, is that there's an amazing vibrancy or
We
vibe.
won't tell anybody.
Yeah,
People,
no,
I'm sure. Yeah,
don't
we're
worry
not
about
being
those cameras. It's okay.
all fake.
It's a secret.
But there's an amazing vibrancy here, a lot of energy. We've just got to coordinate it a little bit better, and that's partly because we're nascent, we're young. You know, we're not Austin yet. Austin, Texas
Yeah,
yet.
that's our big competitor.
Yeah,
one
it's
of
a
our
big
big
one.
ones.
But we
Charlotte and a
we
couple
have,
others.
you know, San Diego's another competitor. We have a
Yeah.
lot in common with with San Diego. But there are lots of models. But I think it's going to take us figuring out our own unique way to approach it. But these young people, the ones here, the ones at the other universities, it's very impressive. And I think we've got a lot to look forward to.
Now, you obviously have to be, I mean, you got all of these young people here, and you've got to be here to be in the position you're in. I mean, you got to be a step ahead and above them. Tell us about your background. How did you evolve into what you're doing now?
Well, I grew up with a very entrepreneurial mom. Betty White is her name, actually. People ask her all the time if she's the Betty White, and she
the
says,
other
of
Betty
course,
White.
I am the Betty White. But very entrepreneurial mom. My mom had a business, so I grew up in
Where are you
that
from?
environment. I grew up in West Virginia.
Oh, you're kidding
God,
me.
here we
Oh,
go.
my
You two are
Lord.
cousins.
Yeah,
You don't even know it, but I'm sure you're cousins.
Yes,
Now, I got to ask what town?
Peterstown.
Where? Oh,
Peterstown,
Peterstown. Yeah,
yes.
that's up in the upper
Well,
part
no,
of the
it's
state.
right on the Virginia border near Princeton, Bluefield
Okay,
area.
yeah, Bluefield and Princeton.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're
Down
all
south,
small
way down in
towns.
south.
You're
I'm-
thinking of Petersburg.
Yeah, I'm from Logan.
Logan.
Yeah.
Well, we are related.
So you're like second cousins.
Well, I'm a Hatfield.
You're kidding. I am a Hatfield. We
See,
are related.
I knew it. I knew it. Everybody in West Virginia is related.
Well-
And these are the Hatfield family members.
We are.
Devil Lance is from my hometown.
He's my grandmother's great uncle.
Well, he is my great aunt's granddad, I guess. It was my
We are
great aunt's
definitely
granddad.
cousins.
The problem is the family tree goes straight up.
But yes, I grew up in West Virginia. My mom was an entrepreneur, and
God almighty.
I'll get us back on track here. But I also started my own company when I was living in Cincinnati. I have a PhD in strategy, so I have the business training and background. But I also started my own company when I was in Cincinnati. It was a risk mitigation company for higher education. So we created, this was back in the early 2000s, and it was prior to the unfortunate massacre at my alma mater, Virginia Tech.
Oh,
That's where I
yes.
got my PhD, yeah. So we created some software tools that help keep campuses safe, anonymous reporting software. So I learned a lot. I paid a lot of tuition for my advanced degrees, but I learned as much from that,
You're
those
one
things
of
together.
one of the standout West Virginians, I guarantee you that.
Well, that's a limited number. All right, we're going to interrupt this family reunion here of the McCoys or the Hatfields. Which one?
We're the Hatfields.
The Hatfields.
Careful about-
Over in Kentucky.
Whatever. Don't start dueling or anything. All right, we'll be right
on the
back.
same side.
Yeah, I see that. Dr. Rebecca White, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, stay with us. Next segment coming up. They're not related in this next segment, okay?
In today's world, we need more leaders that are creative and innovative and entrepreneurially minded.
The ability to look at and attack problems in a different way. The thinking outside of the box approach that we teach our students is really a competitive advantage.
It's a learning opportunity that's highly experiential. It's a great thing to add on to the rest of your business courses. At the graduate level, we offer an MBA with a concentration in entrepreneurship. Students take management, marketing, accounting, finance, information systems, and so they get a good basic grounding in business. And then they add on a group of courses in entrepreneurship. They learn everything from idea generation and creativity, all the way up through entrepreneurial leadership and funding new ventures.
We do a phenomenal job there of really taking a look at entrepreneurship at a higher level. Students are able to create their own ideas, take their own concepts, and go through the business plan process.
At the graduate level, those students also can be involved in all of the co-curricular programs that we offer.
I was lucky enough to meet some fellow colleagues in the Entrepreneurship Club, and so I joined, and it was an incredible experience, inspiring individuals. It was amazing to be surrounded by like-minded individuals that had similar passions, similar struggles.
They can participate in the accelerator that we have for students. They participate in the competitions.
We were lucky enough to win first place in the business plan competition, which propelled us to numerous successful opportunities that our team has been able to take advantage of only because of what Dr. White at the Entrepreneurship Center has been able to offer us.
So we're getting a lot more success from our graduates, and many of them are starting their companies while they're here in school. A general MBA is great, but if you have any idea that you want to start a company or that you might want to be in a top leadership position, the entrepreneurial mindset can be really valuable.
And UT had the foundation and fundamentals to provide me with a backing, allowing me to grow as an entrepreneur, provide me with the networks, the relationships, to feel confident in myself, to grow my business.
All right, Jack, now that you've found your long-lost cousin, we're back with your cousin-in-law.
This is my in-law,
Yeah.
my Hatfield in-law.
This is Dr. Rebecca White's husband,
yeah.
Giles Hertz, who is also a professor here at the University of Tampa. They came together, which was great for the city of Tampa, that we got a package deal, basically. He teaches business law and entrepreneurship here at the university, and it must be a really rewarding experience to be able to mentor to all of these amazing young people that we've seen around this building already. Tell us what your day is like.
That's a great experience, Mayor. Thank you for asking. I'm really excited to be able to work with the kids, and what I particularly like about teaching the entrepreneurship class is it gives the students another opportunity as a career choice. And so many students go through college thinking they're going to work for a large corporation and often don't think about the option of self-employment. And so it gives them
And you were
another
previously
option.
a lawyer.
Yes, I practiced law for many years. I'm still licensed to practice law. And so I enjoy teaching business law too, because it's a very important knowledge that the students have about that.
Do you find the entrepreneurship part of that equation more exciting than the traditional practice of law?
I was good at practicing law. I made good money at it, but I can't say that I look forward to going to work every day. I really enjoy going to work today.
Yeah, we got a chance to meet some of these young people, and they are brilliant, obviously, given the success that they have enjoyed already. And of course, they're here anchoring for more, I guess.
Yeah, all of our students are really good at the University of Tampa. The entrepreneurship students who I get to work with are really motivated to improve their lot in life.
You know, and I would imagine, particularly coming from a legal background, I mean, a lot of these kids have great ideas, but you also have to mentor them in terms of how to structure a business, the laws associated with that, the accounting portion of it, the patents, all of those things. So I mean, you really are finishing off a very raw product, if you will.
That's true. You know, a lot of people start businesses without any of that knowledge about the legal aspects of their business, and they pay the price through experience. The students get a lot of advantage by being through the program, so the business law classes gives them the base knowledge that they need, and then through the program we provide other resources in regards to legal advice, not necessarily advice, but knowledge that they need to be more successful in their businesses. We also provide resources here in the Lowth Entrepreneurship Center. We have a downtown law firm that provides regular services up here for the students.
So you really are a true incubator for these kids.
It is. The law firm provides 15 hours of free legal services for the student accelerators, 10 hours of free legal services for the incubator clients, and then 30 hours for
that they use
lectures.
in developing their business.
Yes, and what's really good is that the law firm, you know, even though it's pro bono services, they provide them a bill, so the students learn to understand the value of what they're getting and also know how expensive legal services can be.
What is a typical day like for you? I mean, specifically, what do you do in, well, vis-a-vis these young people, these entrepreneurs?
Sure. I mean, you know, the work that we do in the center is in addition to the classroom work. So, you know, I teach 2 sections of business law and an introduction to entrepreneurship class. And then the center sponsors a lot of events. And so all of the faculty, the staff, and a lot of the students participate in all those events as well. So after, you know, the classroom work is, then we work on things here in the center, providing the resources for the people that work up here.
And I'm thinking introduction to entrepreneurship, that's something that they've already got to have been very much immersed in. I mean, that's not something like you go in and learn your ABCs or count to 10 or whatever it is. I mean, that's something you're already doing, and you all end up, I guess, kind of mentoring them or something, or pushing them a little further, or?
We do. I mean, you know, even incoming freshmen who have expressed an interest in entrepreneurship in the first-year program can take specialty courses related to entrepreneurship. So they start practicing pitching, for example, early on in their academic careers, and then that continues throughout the rest of the program as well.
It's almost like taking a diamond and really polishing it up.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good analogy of that.
So there's a big conference going on. We're filming this at the end of October. We are about to host in Tampa a pretty significant conference of entrepreneurs, of which UT is going to be a big part of. You've been driving force behind it. Tell us about that. What's going on down at the convention center?
So starting tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday will be the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization's National Conference.
Wow.
I've been involved with the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization for a number of years, 16 as a faculty advisor at this school and another school. You know, the organization's been around since the mid-1980s. We have approximately 250 chapters, nearly 5,000 members at colleges and universities across the United States. And so we have our national conference here starting Thursday. We're expecting about 800 attendees, and we have about 50 to 60 speakers. We have several keynote speakers, and then also, and everyone will be together in a plenary session for that, and then we have about 55 breakout speakers, subject matter experts.
That's a real coup for the city of Tampa, I think, to be able to get a group like that here. I mean, that's incredible when you're competing with, as we've talked about earlier, Austin and Charlotte and all the other cities.
Well, we're really fortunate. Dr. Vaughn expressed interest in bringing the national organization headquarters here. So in May, we signed an agreement to bring the headquarters here. So now the national headquarters of the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization is located on the 8th floor of the Lowth Entrepreneurship Center here. And so we're operating out of this space. Primarily, the organization had been holding its conferences in Chicago because it was an Illinois corporation. But now the national conference will primarily be in Tampa. So my original plan, and I hope to hold to it, will be 2 years in Tampa, 1 year somewhere else, 2 years in Tampa, 1 year somewhere else.
That is really great.
So we're bringing some really outstanding students from all around the country to Tampa, and also to see the University of Tampa and the programs that it offers.
Is there much of an opportunity for these students who are not from Tampa to be exposed? I mean, are there programs that are off-site? Are they going to be able to get around the city at all?
They are. They can, of course, take several of the transportation modes that are available to anybody in downtown. Right. But the university is providing a bus that's going to be providing a continuous loop of students up here on Friday evening. And so the students who have an interest in seeing the campus and understanding about our graduate programs will be able to come up here and see what we have to offer at the University of Tampa.
Yeah, I think they really want to come in and see this building and facility that you have here.
Yeah, I mean, the facility is a part of the larger parcel to improve the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Tampa, and this brings an opportunity for students not from Tampa to see it and hopefully make this their home and to start their businesses and keep their businesses here in Tampa.
Yeah, that's what we talked about with these young people out here. And these are, I mean, this is just amazing that you get these people at this level. It boggles my mind when we talk to them and some of the things that they have already achieved and are planning for the future. I mean, it's just big things here, and they're making them bigger.
Yeah, the program continues to grow, and the successes leads to further successes. And so we've been really blessed with high-quality students, and really blessed with a lot of community support, people that come in and offer their time and services to help us build these students and their businesses.
What do you think the next step for UT, for this center, and for that entrepreneurial ecosystem is in Tampa?
Well, we'd like to see more coordination among all the different players in the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
So would that be like WAVE, Tampa Bay Technology Forum,
Yes.
whatever USF is doing on commercialization? That's the type of coordination that you're looking for?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think there's a lot of overlap, and sometimes we duplicate services, and I think if we had a central place to coordinate some of that activity, I think it'd be really worthwhile.
Does it have to physically be located in the same place, or is it just more the relationships and the communication?
I think maybe a little bit of both. I think to the extent that they're physically located together, there's better coordination, but I don't think that's, absolute necessary. I think as long as there's good communication between the different support organizations, I think that would be beneficial.
We've got about 2 minutes left. How do you find the availability of venture capital and funding for the companies that you guys are spinning out?
Well, in Tampa, what we tend to see is that venture capital is plentiful, but we don't seem to see much seed money.
Right.
So early stage investors.
The high-risk money.
Yes, and so that's what we need to see a little bit more of in Tampa. And in order to keep our new businesses here, we're going to need to see some more of that.
And
so
so folks are willing to invest in like the second or third round, but not the first round.
Correct.
And that's where the capital's most at risk, because it truly is a startup.
Yes, and typically those are angel investors that invest at that stage.
And of course, that's where you risk the money, but you also have the potential for making a killing.
Yes.
And if these things grow to the potential that's there, especially when you talk to some of them that have been very successful already, they're going to be successful in the future.
That's true.
But as you point out, that's second or third step.
Sure,
So-
but we do have resources here on the floor. So we have a venture capital suite, and so we have the local venture capital firms and some angels that come in here, funders, and they spend time with the students and help them understand what they need to do to prepare for those markets.
Good. Well, if you want to invest in the future, come and hang out here
Let
at
me
UT.
check one final thing. What's it like to be married to a Hatfield?
Well, I'll just leave that alone.
All right, on that note, this family reunion is over. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're going to meet some of those amazing young people too, I think. All right, stay with us.
An entrepreneur is always curious and questioning,
It's a way of thinking about opportunities.
People get involved because they're passionate.
looking for the next exciting thing. At the undergraduate level, we have a full entrepreneurship immersion program, really creating an entrepreneurial community.
We'll take them through a wide variety of steps to see what it takes to launch a business.
All the classes in the program build on each other. So in the intro class, the students work on what is known as a feasibility analysis. The students work in groups to come up with a business idea, then determine whether that concept is worthwhile moving ahead to the next step, which would be the business plan. This is some of the outlines that we made the last time we met.
The resources available through the faculty here is amazing. Through the UT Entrepreneurs Club, I've gained a lot of positive experience just through the environment.
There's a lot of great ways that students can get involved right from the beginning. Activities, competitions, and speaker events that we have.
Students develop additional learning experiences in the club as well as social activities.
All of these different programs have made me more comfortable with my public speaking as well as my presentation skills.
Students will literally come in and pitch ideas Shark Tank style.
Experienced business professionals listen to you pitch your idea, give you feedback on whether your idea is actually feasible or not.
So when they graduate, they actually have that business plan, those presentations in their portfolio.
The downtown proximity allows us to have good interaction with the business community, and it's a very active entrepreneurial community, so many of the business people in Tampa are interested in working with students, both in internships and then thereafter hiring.
One of the most exciting things about entrepreneurship here at the University of Tampa is our amazing Entrepreneurship Center space. Over 35,000 square feet dedicated to all things entrepreneurship, built all around learning objectives and inspiring and encouraging creativity and innovation.
a really cool, unique area for all the entrepreneurship majors to get together and serve as a little quiet escape place for everybody to get their ideas flowing.
When you bring all that entrepreneurial energy together, it's really pretty powerful.
All right, Jack, we are back with one of the prime examples of exactly what we've been talking about in terms of this talent that we've been trying to attract to this community. Bright young entrepreneurs who want to grow companies, who have great ideas. We have with us right now is Jennifer Finney, and she is pursuing her Master's of Science in Entrepreneurship here at the University of Tampa. And this is a living, breathing example of what we're talking about. This is our future right here.
And someone who has already accomplished so much.
She has indeed. She had the good sense to come to UT and to Tampa, and that's a brilliant decision in my
That was
mind.
a great decision to begin with.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us your story. Tell us a little bit about your background, but more importantly, why you chose UT and what do you expect to get out of this?
Absolutely. Well, my background is actually in public health. I graduated from the University of Tampa this year in May with a degree, a Bachelor's of Science in Public Health. And last year, I got involved with the Holt Prize competition at UT, and there were 6 of us total, 5 other students, that we started a company called OptiMarket, and that was where I caught the entrepreneur bug, where I just really loved the culture up here and loved the professors up here and all of the support that we can get up here. So because of that, that was really where I started my journey as being an entrepreneur. And the more I learned about entrepreneurship and applied it to public health, and in the healthcare field, I saw just a huge need for innovation and forward thinking and creativity across multiple industries. Because I am from a different background. I don't have a business undergrad, I have a public health undergrad. But those same entrepreneurial principles followed through different industries, and I wanted to pursue that more, that different outside of the box thinking to build viable, successful companies. And that was why I pursued the MS in Entrepreneurship, that and the amazing professors that are up here that really encouraged me and inspired me to become involved. So I chose to pursue the MS to kind of learn more about how to bring creativity, innovation, lean startup practices to different industries, as well as apply it to my own companies.
Now, you say there were 5 others. How did all of this begin with the 6 of you? I mean, not as I would have been sitting around drinking beers. What do you think about this? How does something like that come together?
But it would have involved beer.
We were
How
all
to make a better
here.
beer can, a beer cooler, beer opener.
We were all, the other 5 were business students here, undergrad business students, and 1 MBA student here at UT. So we're all students here. And then I was actually sought out by a team member. I was very involved in undergraduate research. I worked on the CMMI Care Award at St. Joseph's Children's Hospital, and they wrote an article about me for the UT front page, and then a student reached out to me and asked me if I would come in and learn about what they're doing in the Holt Prize, and then from there I just stuck around and couldn't get enough of it, and we competed in the Holt Prize. We went to India. We learned a lot.
Tell us about that.
So after we won the UT Holt Prize round 1 in December of last year, we went to India in January and stayed there for 2 weeks on a research trip, doing ground floor, how to understand the needs of our company. It was a peer-to-peer investment platform empowering micro entrepreneurs and micro enterprises in India. So we went there, we went through the slums, we met the micro entrepreneurs, learned about their business needs, and how we could best empower them through our business. So what we found that was really incredible was just the true entrepreneurship that was there. Is everybody was just so passionate about being an entrepreneur and having their niche within the bigger picture of society that they had there, and they were self-sustainable and they were incredible at recycling, and we learned a lot about their needs. Like a lot of them really had a need for marketing assistance, and it was just really an incredible experience to see entrepreneurship in a different culture. And that also fueled my decision to get my MS, because I was just so fascinated by how entrepreneurship works on a global scale.
So you will finish this MS degree in the springtime?
Yes, sir.
And so what's next for you after that?
After that, I'm still figuring out the best path for me.
And your father is an entrepreneur as well.
He is. He's a businessman here in Tampa, and I've learned a lot from him. He's been one of my biggest mentors, and it kind of inspired me as well to pursue business, and always empowered me and believed in me as an entrepreneur.
So I have a 15-year-old daughter. When does the crazy stop?
It doesn't. Once you're an entrepreneur, you just...
No, I don't mean that part. I mean just the 15-year-old
Oh, the 15,
crazy.
the 15.
I'm teasing. It's okay.
Maybe
You
when
obviously
she
have
hits
turned out
20.
well. Yeah. All right. So you come from an entrepreneurial background.
I do.
What do you think? Would you like to create a company? Do you have a product that you're looking at?
Yes, right now I'm working on a company called CBE3. It's Community Building Through Entrepreneurship, Education, and Experience. It's an online platform that has competency-based testing for entrepreneurs, so we can help guide them through education and learning modules to be the best entrepreneurs that they can be
See,
within
that's
the
the
community.
1-minute elevator pitch that she just did. You've been practicing, haven't you?
I have. I've done that a few times.
Basically, what you're doing is creating more entrepreneurs. I mean, your entrepreneurial aspiration is to create more entrepreneurs.
Yes.
I mean, you could well start your own thing like this, like the Lowth
That's
building here.
the vision that CBE3 has in an online platform, because if I didn't have access to this center and the resources and the mentors and the professors that I have here, I wouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Would you ever think about teaching?
I would love to teach. I've never taught besides dance. I was a dancer, so I taught dance. But
An
I would
Irish
love,
dancer, Jack.
I understand.
There's a difference.
Yes, so I would love to teach maybe at some point and mentor. I love mentors. I think having a mentor is one of the biggest takeaways I can give to entrepreneurs is find a mentor. Multiple mentors, always be looking for somebody that can guide you and share their wisdom and advice with you as an entrepreneur.
I like the name CP, and it's a small e, large C, large P, small e 3, because I saw that and I thought, what is that? And again, it's
community building through entrepreneurial education.
CB, I'm sorry,
Yes.
not CP, CB, community building, and then what is the E3 again?
Entrepreneurship, education, and experience.
The three things necessary to move forward.
We really
like
want to
that.
build successful entrepreneurs that they can build successful businesses within the community, because I think community building is really important in building the holistic ecosystem of entrepreneurs, because it's never just one thing or one entrepreneur. It's a whole collection of entrepreneurs, investors, mentors, teachers, all in one space working together to build success.
And how do you find, as a young person, the ecosystem for entrepreneurs here in the Tampa area? mean,
I think we're doing a really great job at building that and building that network. In my free time, I also work for Florida Funders here. I started working for Mark Blumenthal, the CEO, in June of this year as an intern, and he really shares that same vision of building the entrepreneurial ecosystem for and empowering entrepreneurs here. From an investment side, and I've had the opportunity to work with him and his team on that, so I've really been able to see how we are working to build that from an investment standpoint as well as from an entrepreneur perspective, because I am an entrepreneur. So I've had a really unique opportunity to see both sides of what we're doing to build the ecosystem here in Tampa, because we're not a Silicon Valley. But we have the potential to be, because we have great talent, we have great people, great business minds here in Tampa, and just really tying all of those together to be the best area that we can be and support small businesses and small entrepreneurs.
Now, they've recently made some investments in some companies, the Florida Funders have.
Yes.
Some of them spun out of WAVE. Are you finding that there is a plethora of companies and a scarcity of dollars available?
No, I'm not. I think that it's just a matter of really building the whole ecosystem, that there is capital and funding available to these entrepreneurs, and these entrepreneurs are viable and successful small businesses that just might need the access or the connections or the network they need to be successful. So.
All right, this is what we're talking about right here.
Yep, prime example.
Dad, you did a good job with this one.
You sure did.
Stay with us, but I'm telling you, what you see emerging out of this university and USF and these incubators, Jack, are exactly like Miss Finney here. This is that next generation of talent that we're counting on. They are some really, really good, smart, aggressive kids.
And the ones that are going to grow Tampa to the next
Yep.
level.
They're going to be the next Google or the next Facebook, but we're going to keep them right here in this town. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Keep
very
up the
much.
good
It's a
work.
pleasure.
Yeah, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Tembo's mission is to maximize human potential through education via mobile phones. We are here in Lagos, Nigeria to implement a pilot study to educate 10 million children 0 to 6 years old living in urban slums all around the world in developing nations. The Holt Prize is the world's largest student competition. Every year, President Bill Clinton picks a different challenge to change the world. Out of over 20,000 teams and over 60,000 students, we are lucky enough to make it to the final 6 teams in the world, being the only team from the United States to make it. I've been lucky enough to work on several different teams, whether it was in the MBA program or an entrepreneurial venture, and I can say that this is the absolute best team I've ever been a part of. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you have so many passionate, motivated individuals all working towards a common goal for the greater good. There were a lot of other incredible teams and ideas in the Holt Prize competition, but what differentiated Tembo from the other teams is that we had a 3-part solution. 1, what is your curriculum, which is the product? 2 is where do you distribute it? And 3 is how do you distribute it? Also, we focused on the 5 domains of learning where other teams did not. The University of Tampa's Entrepreneurship Center has been crucial in our success. Without their partnerships, without their education, without the resources that they provided with regard to business connections, academic connections, hands-on knowledge with regard to entrepreneurship, none of this would have been possible. This has been such an amazing opportunity between the Holt Prize, the University of Tampa, graduating with my MBA and MS, and being surrounded by this amazing team, these inspiring individuals, allowing us to travel to Nigeria to actually implement our business and receive investment capital has been the most exhilarating experience of my life.
Jack, we just met one of the amazing students that's currently in the program getting their master's, and now we have 2 of the success stories that have come out of this program. They are near and dear to my heart because they are both former lacrosse players. Who,
Oh, I thought those were ping pong balls.
no, these are lacrosse balls. And these 2 young guys right here have created a company coming out of UT, coming out of playing lacrosse, coming out of this center that really is pretty exciting and something I'm really excited to brag about for them. So
Well, he played lacrosse.
Yeah. Well,
and of course, these guys play lacrosse.
they did, but they were much better than I was.
Well-
I was in the uniform, but I sat on the bench most of the time.
Pine Rider.
Yeah, Nick Martin, Dan Soviero are here with us today. Guys, tell us exactly what your company is and what it does.
So we are Signature Lacrosse. We manufacture a higher quality lacrosse ball, and we also are the first to offer custom balls on a mass scale.
See, what you can see here on this, it's got the Penn State logo on it as well as my name, and this one has the City of Tampa logo on it
Yeah.
as well. So this is a first. Normally they just have Brine or something else on here.
Yep. Exactly.
So how did you guys think of this? What was the evolution of this?
So when I was in high school, I was very entrepreneurial minded. Started private lessons with the younger guys.
Lacrosse lessons.
Lacrosse
Yeah.
lessons, and quickly realized I wanted to make my own way. So I was sitting on the field one day stretching, and a greasy ball came rolling up to me from the coach, shot it at the goalie, it bounced off, came to me. I looked at it and I was like, why has no one ever made a higher quality ball? Because it's a huge issue in lacrosse is a greasy ball, or what we call a drill killer. And basically the ball slips out of your stick before you go to pass it because it gets a oily texture around the outside from the friction, from the ball hitting the turf or the grass, and then UV rays as well. So we dug into the chemical composition with some people that were way smarter than us, and we did the product testing and the easy stuff. And,
you did all of that here at UT?
We did all that here with, not UT specifically, we did a lot with UT, but we used elite college players and then pro players to do all the product testing, get all the feedback so we could go back to the engineers and say, hey, we want to tweak this, this, and this. And now 3 generations later, what we've come out with is a ball that lasts 1 to 2 weeks longer. We can price it at an affordable price point for the market, one that doesn't restrict people from trying out the game, because it is, as you guys know, an expensive sport when you're just getting out of the gates.
Yeah, and I know nothing about lacrosse. I've never played it or never really
we'll
got
fill
into
you
it and don't fully understand it. But I do know we've got one of the premier lacrosse facilities in the country right here at UT. In fact, right out the window, I think, from where we're standing right now.
Yeah, it's a great place to play and a great facilities to use.
So tell us about the composition of a lacrosse ball. What's different about what you guys did versus what was existing prior?
Yeah, so normally a lacrosse ball is measured in 2 main ways. The most important is what's called CD, stands for compression deflection. In a nutshell, it's the amount of force in pounds required to compress a ball to 25% of its height. So basically it's how soft the ball is. For the last 100-something years, forever, lacrosse balls have all been about 190 to 200 pounds CD. What we did is we lowered that CD down to 145, so our balls start at a softer point. Now, you played lacrosse and you're feeling the ball. You might be able to tell a little more give when you touch it, but overall, it's the exact same playable lacrosse ball. The difference is now our ball has 45 extra pounds of force to work with from UV rays and friction, so it takes longer to wear out. So by lowering that number and softening the ball, our balls will last longer until they harden over, and as they harden is simultaneously them becoming greasy and unplayable.
Does it hurt any less when it hits you?
No, as a goalie,
I'm having bad memories right about now.
I definitely don't think so, but as someone who got 2 concussions from playing with greasy balls because they harden and they become unsafe, they actually slip outside of the standards for approved balls for play. So these balls are actually safer, which is an added benefit to what we've done.
For those of you who don't know the game of lacrosse, anybody who is a goalie is certifiably insane. Just imagine getting hit with this ball. Now, this is a hard ball at 100 miles an hour.
That's jumping in front of it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
And choosing to do so. That's what goalies do. This guy's nuts. Nuts.
But you were saying when you played, you had to go stand in front of the goalie so he couldn't see it, so you had to get hit too.
Yeah, so I would get hit too.
Partially nuts.
Yeah, well, lacrosse was perfect preparation for politics. A lot of high sticks and low blows. So what's the future of the company? I mean, who are you guys selling it to? Collegiate teams, high school teams, club teams?
We're working with over 100 colleges. We've got exclusive contracts with some of the biggest retailers in the sport. And we're expanding into other SKUs. So we'll be coming out with different products, trying to keep it a little bit of a secret before we
Well, that's what I was wondering about, if you would expand it to improving the, what is it called, a racket?
It's a stick. So it's made up of 2 parts, a head and a shaft. We'll let you guys in on an exclusive secret. We've got heads and shafts.
Yeah, there's no, don't worry about the camera.
City of Tampa exclusive.
Yeah. So we'll have heads and shafts coming out in 2017.
That's great.
Same method that we went with the balls. We want to create higher quality products at price points that drive the growth of the game and allow players to be able to afford the equipment. So the idea is to continue to develop high quality equipment at more affordable prices than what's on the market, because when we were growing up as players, if we wanted a new stick, we needed $200. Fortunately,
that's a lot of birthdays.
It's a lot of birthdays. I had to add Easter to my holiday list sometimes, so it's tough. So that's something we're really passionate about, and it's something that we think will help drive the growth of the game and also the business.
Can you make a better golf ball now that I'm reduced to golf? That would help my golf game. Now, but you guys are doing more than that. You're also out helping other lacrosse programs do better, run better, exposing more and more kids to the amazing game of lacrosse.
Yeah. So as part of the philanthropy of our company, we staff youth programs, and we put in processes and a business model that helps build sustainability within those 501c3 nonprofit youth programs.
I'm wondering how these guys I mean, again, just sitting around drinking a beer and saying, we need to come up with a better lacrosse ball and we need to come up with a better stick or whatever the case may be. Is that how that started, or how did this come about?
But they didn't drink beer in college.
Oh, that's true.
In case their moms are watching, they did not drink any beer in college. Lacrosse players never drink beer.
Never drink beer. Okay.
Never.
So where'd the idea come from? What was the genesis of it, other than stretching and you see a greasy ball come by?
That was pretty much the starting point. I started looking into different chemical compositions and stuff, and then about 3 years later, after sourcing a ton of different manufacturers from different countries around the world and getting in products from them, I was able to steal him from a hedge fund, and that's really been a huge key to our success, is the team that we've been able to build, and especially the first guy I brought on being Nick, who's someone I actually grew up with playing. So it's been a real blessing to be able to work with someone like him, and it's kind of helped shape our whole strategy and where we're going to be going as a company and expanding and doing the different stuff. I was just the ball guy.
So real quick, I mean, were you a part of this program here at the center? And so you kind of emerged out of that as undergrads or post-grad?
As undergrads.
Okay.
So Dan stumbled into a pitch competition about a year and a half ago, probably.
Very, very serendipitously.
Really?
Very.
Basically found out you could make a couple of dollars if you pitched your business to some people smarter than us. Needed to pay the bills. Dan went up.
It's better than the blood bank I used to go to when I was in college.
Yeah, exactly.
Fortunately, Dan ran into some of the faculty here, and they heard what we were doing and offered us a space to work out of here. And that's really when the ball got rolling. You know, they gave us a lot of resources and opportunities. And since then, we've kind of, you know, instead of been driving through the back roads, been on the highway a little bit, if you will.
That's great.
Yeah,
All right,
good analogy.
Another great example. 2 young entrepreneurs who emerged out of this program and are creating a better product. You know, it's all about a better mousetrap, so to speak, and this is a better mousetrap, or in this case, a lacrosse ball. Stay with us. These guys, you know, you could be reading about them down the road as fast as lacrosse is growing, but we appreciate you guys, and keep being successful, and don't ever leave Tampa.
Thank you. Thank you. We don't plan on it.
And
That's the key. Stay in Tampa.
This will go on my shelf, along with a lot of other great mementos of being the mayor. So, Jack, stay with us. We're going to close this thing down shortly, and get on to the next show.
Hi, my name is Matthew Sarley. I'm a graduating senior with a degree in entrepreneurship. After graduation, I'm going to be pursuing my own company that I started here with 3 other classmates called Spartan Ergonomics. We're going to be developing a medical grip that can help people that have arthritis as well as other hand dexterity issues. After last semester, I decided to go forward with pursuing my company, and my teacher recommended applying for a fellowship called Future Founders. And what they do is help provide mentorships, webinars. They connect you with people that can help you in your industry, as well as just providing a support system for the entrepreneur. The aspect with Future Founders that I'm most excited for is definitely the connections that I'm going to build and the networking opportunities. They're involved with a lot of big people in business in the Chicago area, one of the most up-and-coming entrepreneurship cities in the United States. Spartan Grip originally started as a class project, and originally it was geared towards the sports industry, and then it pivoted towards the medical industry. And the feedback that we got from our teacher, our classmates, as well as outside resources, we realized that we had a real potential to start an actual business and have a viable product. We therefore determined that we'd pursue this full-time. And through the accelerator program that UT provided us with, it gave us access to additional resources such as capital, mentorships, collaboration with other students. So without the UT Accelerator program, we wouldn't be nearly as far as we are right now. Any student that's looking to enter into the entrepreneurship field, UT is the perfect fit for you. We have one of the best entrepreneurship programs in the United States, and with all the resources that the John P. Lowth Entrepreneurship Center provides you, I know that you'd be successful in whatever business venture you want to pursue.
Jack, another Mayor's Hour in the can. What a great show. I love being around these young people.
This is incredible. People have no idea what's going on here on the University of Tampa campus and how that is going to enhance the future of Tampa, really, with these people, particularly the more of them that can stay here, the better.
Yeah, we definitely are breeding that next generation of entrepreneurs. And, you know, when you and I were going through school, we didn't think like this. I mean,
No,
we got
not
our
even
degrees
close.
and we went out into the world and took traditional jobs and traditional corporations and traditional cubicles. These kids, it's a whole different world, and it's exciting. I don't understand it all, but what they're doing is really, really cool stuff.
And the amazing thing is the achievements that they have mastered so far. And I mean, they're moving on from that.
We just need to get out of their way. You know, get government out of their way, get the regulatory process out of the way. I mean, this whole Uber and Lyft thing is a classic example of the bureaucracy getting in the way of disruptive technology and things that are changing the way we do business. We just need to get out of the way and let these bright young kids do their thing and create wealth, create jobs, create companies.
Yeah, like the Uber, classic example. I mean, you've got some people that are trying to regulate it that don't understand it, and you've got people that want to be involved in it and want to use it.
Yes.
I mean, you've got so many young people, and sometimes I think, well, they're not getting it up there at that commission.
No, they don't. I mean, that's the cab companies are stifling competition. And the PTC, Public Transportation Commission, either needs to just go away or get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Important.
But other than that, exciting times in Tampa these days.
Oh, there sure are. We're talking about the skyline is going to change pretty dramatically over the next few years.
Yeah, there's been some major announcements this week, which will be, this show will run in a couple of weeks, about developments on the west side of the Hillsborough River.
Yeah, that one's something. That's going to be one of the taller buildings in town.
It will
one
be.
Of the bigger
Yeah,
ones.
it will be. And you know, you and I have talked a lot about this, about how we've transformed the narrative in this city about the river being the center of everything we do, not the western edge.
Right.
Well, you're now starting to see that occur. I mean, it's anchored by this university we're in right now, but with Related taking down the Tribune building, with John Avalon now proposing what he is on all that property he owns at Kennedy and the river, with a Riverfront Park now under construction. And Jack, you need to go by Riverfront Park and drive down, and same for everyone watching, go down North Boulevard, past UT, past Tampa Prep, and see what 23 acres looks like on the waterfront that is now under construction. It will blow you away.
And of course, going even further down, the Heights area and all of the plans they have for that.
Yeah, it's.
I was at one point hoping that might be the Rays Stadium, but we're going to have to move them to the other side of town.
Yeah, it's, you know, 5 years from now, when all these projects are out of the ground and up, this is going to be a radically different city, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I love about it too, you got Jeff Vinnick, of course, who's so involved in what he's doing with what we call Vinnickville. But the one thing we are lacking and we got to get cranked up is transportation.
Yeah, we do.
And I tell these people that are so against it, we don't need to spend all that money on that. And I tell them constantly, I said, you're helping to pay for every mass transit system in the country. Why don't we bring it here and let everybody else help pay for ours?
Well, you and I have another 781 days left together. You'll probably be doing the next Mayor's Hour, so we'll keep working on it.
Not at my age.
All right, thanks for joining us. I hope you're as excited about seeing the amazing young talent that we have here at University of Tampa, but more particularly, the amazing talent that we have in Tampa. That's our future. That's that next generation of business leaders. Do what you can to support them, and we will see you next month. Thanks, Jack.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you found a cousin.
Good to see you. Yes, indeed.